after the course of the training, within the next 2 or 3 weeks, whatever it may, or whatever long it takes time to finish up.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we should start off with that, right? At least my objective, what I want to at least achieve as far as accounting.
Yes.
Okay. You with me, Debbie? Actually.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Okay. Well, actually, we process a lot of agency bills, and I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it. And then, right now, what we're doing is sending out the full gross amount to the company. So then the company then sends us a bill, sends us a payment for the commission. So obviously, it's getting tiresome for them. So at the same time, in the next couple of weeks, we want to actually start sending them the net amount.
Oh, okay, good. Good.
So, and then the other thing is that obviously once we send out the net amount, obviously the payment comes into our office, we put it into the trust account, and then once we send out the checks, which we do in our office on a weekly basis, I want to know how much is the amount that we need to transfer from the trust account to the commission or to the operating account, as far as the differences for the commission.
Yep.
So
okay.
I want to be able to get a report or whatever amount it is, so that we know. Okay, I know that this is the amount that I need to transfer over to the operating account for the policy that we send out, which were the net amount.
Gotcha.
Okay. The other things that we do here is that we do charge pretty much a lot of the new all the new policies that we draft here for the brand new homeowners, which is basically what we do a good amount of. We take the payments in-house because we typically, in most situations, charge a processing fee of $75. Okay. In addition to that, we also charge a credit card fee if the customer decides to pay by credit card. We also charge a processing fee, either 3% or 4% based upon, which card it is, and also depends on the amount. So typically, if it's $1,000 or more, we will, and if the customer decides to pay by credit card, we will charge them the credit card fee as well. But if the premium is less than $1,000, then we would not charge the credit card fee.
Okay.
We would usually absorb that. We would just only charge them our agency fee for the $75.
Okay.
Okay. So
how have you been showing that agency fee now? Just as like a policy fee?
Yeah. We just on the binder that we issue, we just put it on the total amount on the binders that we usually put on. We put on any fees or anything. We put that as on that binder, $75, and then add the total up.
Okay, do you separate that out in your general ledger?
No, we don't right now. So that's something also.
Do you want to be able to?
I want to be able to do that, yes, so that I also know, okay, these are the amount that we just like when we run the report for the commission for the net amount, I want to be able to also run a report so that we know these are the amount of money that we collected as far as fees were concerned.
Right. Okay.
So that's one thing. So what else do I need to, and then obviously moving forward, obviously the commission part of it, setting up the accounts correctly for hopefully my goal is in the future to do commissions also.
In regard to reconciling or?
Reconciling, yeah, I think I may be taking too much on, but as far as reconciling, at least if I set it up correctly, at least going forward, I don't know. Because obviously we get all these commissions, we don't enter nothing into the computer. I know that's the only way we could reconcile it.
Right.
We don't have the training, the training right now. But so right now, at least if we set it up correctly, maybe let me ask you, what's your best option? If you set it up correctly, all the different companies and the commissions that we get paid out, in order to get a correct amount, we would have to go back. Would we, or how could we go about that?
What you want to do is exactly what you said in the beginning of this conversation. You want to set everything up on a net basis.
Okay.
That way you're not worrying about having to reconcile any commission in the end because you've already kept your commission. Now, are you paying producers? with the
Yes.
commission?
Yeah. Right now I'm doing on a manual basis, keeping track because I don't have too many producers. So it's just a small amount of quantity that they have. So they keeping track of it manually. I'm also keeping track of it manually. So when the commission reports come in, they look on it on a manual basis.
Okay.
On the
So
statement.
that's the part where we'd want to be able to reconcile the producer commissions
Correct.
to make sure, that we've collected the premium from the client and, have paid the company net.
Correct.
And then produce reports off the actual computer to give you producer statements to show each month what you're paying to each producer.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
Now,
So,
will that also apply to obviously the agency bills? Correct. We could be immediately done. Now, on the direct accounts, how will that work? Or would I need to set it up? Because obviously,
how much direct bill commission do you have?
How much direct bill commissions?
Yeah, how many what's your percentages?
For the ones that I need to produce, for the producers, that's more, there's a lot more of the direct bill commissions than there is for the agency bills for the producers.
Okay.
And as far as volume-wise, if you're just speaking it generally as a whole, then I would say I would say about 70% is direct bills.
Okay. Okay. So then, yes. Now, do you have commission download with any of your companies?
We do have for the two companies that we do have right now. I know that Travelers, we do have that flexibility. I haven't not enabled them to do the commission downloads.
Okay.
And
what is the other company that
the other one is Sterling. I'm not sure if they do have commission downloads, but obviously they do have the policy downloads. But the commission downloads, I'm not very sure if they do have that part of it. From your experience, do you think
service reps right now, do they create an invoice for every policy that goes through your system?
Yes, for the agency bills, yes, we do.
What about direct bill?
Direct bill, no, because obviously the company sends in the direct bill. The only thing is that, as I was saying, that the new direct, all the new policies get generated in a brand new business. Typically, we are providing it for the mortgage companies for the closings. So what happens is that when we started up here, we do generate a bill, and then we get paid on it. And then obviously once we bind the policy, we send out the payment to the carriers minus the fees, if there's any credit card or processing fees.
Okay. Okay. So what you're going to have to decide is how you want to do the commission. If you're paying producers, you really do want to be able to reconcile your commissions.
Okay.
So you're going to have to decide exactly how you want to do that up front. And there's 3 different ways to do that.
Okay.
One being the commission download.
Okay. But then the only aspect of that is that all the commissions are not, all the companies don't have the commission downloads, because we have a lot of companies that we deal with, which we deal on an MGA basis, and it doesn't offer us the commission downloads. Right.
So that's okay.
Okay.
Because on those particular companies, you can either do commission builder.
Okay.
Or you can have the customer, depending on how you want. If it's an MGA that you're dealing with and they're paying you direct bill commission, my suggestion on that would be to have the customer service rep create the invoices so you can actually reconcile your direct bill commissions as they come in.
Okay.
But you could choose to do commission builder. That would be another option.
Okay.
So we'll kind of go through each one of those options, and you can decide exactly how you want to do it. I guess the big thing is how much business do you have in each one of those MGAs?
For the producers?
Well, the MGAs that you're writing the business through.
How much?
How much are you writing through each one?
Okay. I do, because since I started, I do most of, we just got directly appointments only the last year and a half. So everything else for the last 10 years or so all written through MGAs. So I do my, I
You
would
do
say
quite a
90%.
business, quite a
Yeah,
lot of business.
95% of my business is with MGAs.
Okay, so what I want to do is get in here and take a look at your actual book of business and maybe kind of, you know, give you a recommendation or a suggestion
Okay.
As to which you would prefer to use, the invoicing, creating the invoice, or commission builder. Either way, you're going to get the same end results.
Okay.
It's just that one will give you a clearer picture of knowing whether or not you're collecting all your direct bill commissions.
Mm-hmm.
The other way, the commission builder, is kind of trusting the company to pay all that direct bill commission for each policy.
Okay. Because that's basically what I'm doing right now.
Right, you're trusting. You're hoping that they're paying you all your commission, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I always recommend having the customer service rep, as long as she's got to process the policy renewal or the new business anyway, you know, why not have her take that extra step, create the invoice, and then when you receive your direct bill commission from the MGA or company or whomever it is, you know, it'll take you, you know, your accounting department, you know, anywhere from 10 minutes to, you know, maybe at the most an hour to reconcile that statement and make sure you're receiving all your commissions.
Okay.
So, you know, but that again, we can look at that. We can take a look at that and see, because, you know, if we're talking about a lot of business and your support staff and accounting can't, you know, undertake such a big, you know, thing, then you may, you know, we may want to look at it in a different way.
Okay. The other thing is, all right, and well, at least going forward, at least the agency bills, we could do it immediately because it's in-house getting the payments.
Yes, you should start that today.
Immediately. Yeah. Okay, that's right.
Thomas, when are they actually doing the, when are they actually wiping the accounting off?
The wiping the accounting, once we start, maybe in, you know, we did have that discussion, you know, once I know that everything is done correctly as far as accounting, maybe in the next 1 week, 2 weeks, they told me that we could call back up and, you know, wipe out the whole system.
Okay, gotcha.
You know, because I didn't want to, you know, take on something brand, you know, wipe it off and then redo the whole thing, keying everything in again incorrectly. It defeats the purpose.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay.
So maybe a week or 2 weeks. The other thing, Debbie, I want you to both of you maybe check is that right now the way that I have the company set up in here, I'm not sure if it's correctly done. Maybe because when we go to issue checks, how the example. Let me see which one is this. Agency billing. Right now we're stating that it's you know, to a particular company. On an agency billing, do we need to state? Nadia, what's an agency billing that we have? Okay, all right, this one. Okay, well, this is the way that we have set up the policy. Let me just you know what? I don't have control. Nadia, open up that file.
Nadia, it may help to give keyboard and mouse control to all. If you're looking at your GoToMeeting thing, there should be a little button that says give keyboard and mouse, and then just select all. That way, then when Debbie gets started as well, she can use it. There we go. Okay. Go ahead and do what you got to do.
Let me just make sure. Example here, I'm going to create the invoice. This is how we typically will have it done with the invoice section of it. All right. This is the way we put it as homeowners, and we specify the particular company that it's written through. The only thing is that when we send out the checks, we're not sending out the check to a single mutual. We are sending it over to the MGA, which is Simon Agency.
Right. So what you need to do when you create the actual invoice, you have to change that company code to the company that you're going to be paying.
Paying. Okay. So
your companies are probably, I would say, are probably set up okay. It's how you're doing your invoice that needs to be corrected.
oh, okay. So in this part, it should be the actual company that's getting paid instead of a Figure Mutual.
No, in that part right there, on that policy info, so you see how it says policy info?
Where,
That's fine. That
okay.
Ostego, Mutual Insurance. Double-click on your invoice.
No, to do that. Oh, okay. Anyway,
In here is where you want to put the actual company that you're going to be paying.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you would change that to whoever the MGA
is. Okay.
and then hit finish and save. You want to save that.
Save bottom.
See where it says save your changes? Right there, yeah, save it. Hit yes. So now when this particular company statement prints off, it's going to direct it to pay that MGA that you just put in.
Okay.
But at the same time, you're leaving the underwriting company in there because you need that to do binders or, you know, whatever it is you need to do down the road with it.
Okay. All right. So then
that's going to be a really important piece, especially with your agency bill. When you're creating the invoice, always make sure you're putting in the company that you're going to be paying.
Okay. All right. All right. So then I think those are the stuff that I just wanted to bring to your attention before we start.
Okay. Do you mind if I take controls here?
Sure. Go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and just take a quick peek at a few things. Now, when you're paying direct bill, let's just say that we have a direct bill policy, a client's come in, and they're giving you the premium payment, you know, that you're going to deposit into your trust account. Do you normally EFT or wire your payments then to the company right then?
No, it's just a regular check that. Typically, if it's a direct bill, if the customer wants to come and make a payment, you know, once in a while we do have that. We just have them make the check payable directly to the company.
Okay.
You know, use their own check. So, and we just keep a
Send it
copy
on
of the check
to
for
them.
ourselves. Yeah, directly. Yeah. Worst comes to is if they come by and they pay by cash, then obviously, then we just go ahead and then write our check out to the company.
Okay, so you're not actually doing any wires
No,
to the insurance?
no wires, no EFTs at the present time, no.
Okay. So we're going to start with this one using as far as an example.
Okay.
So again, when we go in here and created the invoice, we did it, we put in the company that we're paying or the MGA that we're paying.
Okay.
Here you'd want to make sure that you have the correct commission that they're supposed to be paying you.
Okay.
So in other words, if you're getting 10% of commission on this renewal,
okay.
You would want to make
15.
sure. I'm sorry, say that again?
15.
Okay, so you want to make sure that you put 15% commission in.
Okay.
Now, if you have a producer that you're paying,
okay.
that's where this would go.
That's where that will go. Okay.
Okay, so your producer, let's just say for the sake of it, was Nadia.
Yeah.
And we won't save these changes. And then the producer's commission of that 15%, what do you normally pay out to your producers?
50.
50%?
Yes.
Okay. So see how it's calculating everything for you?
Okay.
Okay. And then if you had a sub-producer, just another producer, you could always, you know, enter it here.
Okay.
Description, renewal, whatever you want to, however you want to do it. And then if you have a fee now that you're charging, your policy fee, you know, for your processing fee or whatever you want to call it, you would hit next. That's going to bring up the second line of the invoice for you.
Okay. Okay.
So here, are you guys familiar with all this? I'm just kind of trying to review it for you.
Not the second part. The first part we are familiar with, not the second line.
Okay, so here's
the
your
fee
policy
section
fee.
and everything.
So $75 you said that
Yeah,
you're charging?
$75, correct. Uh-huh.
Okay. And then there are a few, we'd have to, I guess, determine exactly what transaction code you want to use.
Okay, right there. That would be the policy fee.
Let me take a look here and see if there's anything in here
Anything
for,
else? Okay,
no. All right, so we're going to use policy fee from now.
that's fine.
What this will do then is it zeroes out your commissions, because obviously you're not paying any commissions.
On that part of it, right? Correct.
Right. You're not receiving, you're not paying out.
Okay.
So if you were done, if this was the only policy fee, and you can
Yes.
actually write the description again in here so the client knows when
Okay.
you generate the invoice. If that was the only policy fee you were doing, then you would just hit finish.
Finish. Okay.
Okay? If you're charging a 3% fee now because you have, a
The
credit
credit
card
card.
payment,
Yeah.
again, you would hit next. That'll generate your invoice line 3.
Okay.
And you could calculate we'll just say 3% on 1,000 would be $30.
$30, correct.
And again, policy fee. And then again, you would just hit finish.
Okay. Now, obviously, we could put in here. Obviously we have to change that from policy fee to credit card fees, right?
Yeah,
Right,
we'll have to add something in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we should add a transaction code that says
Okay.
credit card fee so that we differentiate, between the two of them.
Correct.
Okay, so.
All right. So all those 3 lines will print out on the invoice.
Yes, they will.
Okay.
And that's what you want, right?
Yeah.
You want
Yeah.
client to see each thing separated
Each
out.
transaction, correct. And then.
Right. Do you generally have any type of policy fees that the companies charge?
That the companies charge? Yes. On different there's vacant policies that I do here that I usually take care of. That the companies does charge policy fees. Yes.
Okay, so you would do it the same way.
Okay.
Okay, if you're billing a policy fee for a company,
Yeah.
exact same thing. You want to
Okay.
hit the next, get a second invoice line, put in policy fee. Now, I definitely think then that what we need to do is for your policy fee, we should be calling it agency
Agency fee.
policy
Okay.
fee.
Agency.
So I'm
policy.
going to make some notes here because we're going to have to, after this is all cleaned up, we're going to have to get that set up correctly.
Okay.
So for your $75 that you charge or your processing fee,
yeah.
We'll call it agency policy
Okay.
fee. Is that okay with you?
Yeah. That's fine. That's fine.
For the company fee, for any time that you are charged from the company itself,
Yeah.
obviously it would just stay policy fee then.
Okay.
And then for your credit card fees, we want to put a transaction code in there that says credit card fee.
Yeah. That's fine.
And then we want those to actually generate the income from those. We want those to actually go into a separate general ledger account
General ledger account. Correct.
so that you can determine what commission you're actually receiving and what fees you're actually receiving. Do you need those broken out? Do you?
Yeah. So especially the agency fee. Yes. And the credit card.
Want that all by itself in an income account in your general ledger?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So we need to get those transaction fees, and then what we'll have to do is connect them to a correct general ledger account.
That's fine.
So then that way, when the customer service rep creates the invoice, everything just flows right into the general ledger,
into that account.
exactly where you want them to go.
Correct. Right.
Okay. So I will work on that, and we will get that resolved
Okay.
when you
And
start
then-
fresh.
Now, the other thing is that obviously, once we create an invoice, it's going to go into accounts receivable, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, there are instances, especially that I take care of myself, is that a lot of the agency bills that I do, which are a type of policy called vacant policies, where the company, when I go ahead and bind the policy, I need to fax them a copy of our agency check. Okay, in good faith that we're going to go ahead and bind the coverage, and they're going to go ahead, stating that the company is going to go ahead and we give them the authorization to go ahead and bind the coverage. But in the meantime, there's a couple of different clients that I deal with, specifically myself, that I don't get paid until maybe 30 days later. Okay, where I have so much accounts with them, so much they give us so much business that I have the flexibility to know that they will go ahead and, they are in good faith, they are good customers of ours, they will go ahead and make the payment, but they will only make it 10 days later or 15 days later or 20 days later. That's when I actually receive the payment.
Okay.
Okay, but in the meantime, I do need to go ahead and send out a copy of in order to bind the policy. Immediately once they tell me go ahead and get the policy started, I need to go ahead and send a copy of the check, stating that I received payment to the company to go ahead and bind the policy. And the same check is what I send out to the company, to the actual company, 30 days later once I get the payment in my office from the customer.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I have to be able to fool the system so that I could, receive, issue.
I know what you're saying.
Okay.
So yeah, we don't actually want to generate a check. Now, do you get a statement to pay by from that company?
Yeah, I do get a statement. Yes, I do get a statement from them. Yes.
So I guess what I'm saying is at the end of the month, say you have 5 of these payments that you've sent them checks already saying in good faith,
Yeah.
we're going to pay you. And then at the end of the month, do they send you a statement with the 5 outstanding receivables?
Yeah, they do send me a statement every bi-weekly or weekly or sometimes monthly saying these are the stuff that you have open. Even
Right.
though I told them to, go ahead and bind the policy, I give them a copy of the check, but, they
Gotcha.
haven't gotten the actual check in their office because I haven't received payment from the customer.
Yep. Okay, so yes, we're going to have to, I like the way you put it, fool the system a little bit.
Yeah, manipulate the system.
Yeah. So let me,
at the end of the day,
I'm going to get back to you on that one only because I want to process through it in my mind.
Okay.
And go ahead and play with it and make sure I have it down pat before I suggest how to do it.
Okay, because at the end of the day, I still have accounts receivable, but even though, I'm sending a copy of the check to the company to go ahead and bind the policy, the customer actually has not paid the office yet.
Yeah.
The company wants a copy from our office saying that we are going to guarantee the funds.
Right. So right now with your accounts receivable, how do you process payments?
Since it's just a manual check that we're doing, I just write out a check, fax it in, and then hold the check in our office until we get paid.
Okay, so that's how you track whether or not you get paid?
Yeah, I have a separate, there's about maybe right now I have about 15 of those that, we bound the policies and we're just waiting for the payment to come in. And once I get the payment, I go ahead and send out the original check that I used to go ahead and bind the policy.
You don't process the payment through the system?
Through the payment, through the
payment
system.
From the client, do you process that through the system?
Yes, we do process. I do create an invoice, yes. I do create an invoice in the system.
Do you create a cash receipt for it?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you all know how to attach it to the invoice?
To the invoice, yes.
Okay, so let me just, to make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
What you do is you
create an invoice, right?
No. You go in here and you go to cash transaction.
No, we don't do that, no.
All right, let's do this.
Okay.
Do this step. This is the easier way. Open it up your Policy Express.
Okay.
You go to the invoice. You check that you received the payment. You process the payment in this area here.
Okay. No, we don't, actually, no.
Okay, so that's going to be really important, Thomas.
Okay.
You want to be able to track your receivables through the system.
Yeah, that's what I want to be able to do, correct?
Right, so you need to start processing your cash receipts. Any payment that you receive whatsoever from a company, you need to start processing them through this cash transaction that we're doing on this invoice.
Okay.
So do you want me to walk you all through that?
Yeah, you can walk me through it, correct. So example, if I create says that was the invoice. We just go ahead and put the check number. So in this particular case, I would just maybe look at the check that I have. Wait, the check number that the customer is going to give me, because that's the question I'm going to have.
Yep. So say you received a check from him for $997, and the check number is 123.
Okay, but let me take a step forward. Before example, say that you're the customer. You give me so much business, I give you this up. I don't know which, because you tell me go ahead and get the policy started, and to the insurance company, to the actual carrier, I need to get I need to send them a copy of a check. Now on this particular section where you're entering the check number, this is the check number that the customer is going to give me, right?
Yes.
But I don't know, say this is January, say this is now, today's June the 15th, today's June the 12th. You tell me to go ahead and get a policy started. I don't know the check number that you're going to give me in 20 days.
Right. You're not going to process this until you receive the check from the client.
Okay. Okay.
The only time you're going to do a cash transaction is when you physically have cash or check in your hand from the client.
Okay. All right.
So let's say this is 20 days later and this client's coming in to pay this policy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and his check number is 123.
Yeah.
Amount $997 because he's paying it in full.
Okay.
Description, renewal, payment, however you want to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you would just click Save Payment.
Save Payment.
If this was, well, you're not doing wire transfers, so we won't even go there. But then you would just hit Save Payment, and then this clears the $997 balance, turns it into zero, and clears it out of your receivables. You don't have to worry about this particular client coming up on your receivable report anymore. And you know that he's paid you. You know he's paid you in full.
Okay.
And again, I'm not going to save this because I don't want to.
Okay. That's what we would have to do as soon as we get a payment.
Right, and you need to start that effective immediately too, Thomas, because that's going to be really important, because when we go to reconcile your account current to pay companies, we want to make sure, obviously, that we've received money from the client first, that they've paid us, right? I'm assuming you want to make sure you get payment before you pay the company.
Correct, definitely.
So if those cash receipts are not entered into the system, we're not going to know that, and we're not going to be able to reconcile our company.
Okay.
Okay, so that the cash receipt, and if anybody has any problems or can't remember how to do it, just tell them to give me a call. But it's very simple. You just go into the actual invoice that it's going to attach to.
Okay. Then
and again, right here in this cash details.
Okay. Then could we do a sample? We just got an example here. We got a copy of a check. We got a check here, an actual for a payment.
Sure. Have Nadia do it. And what she can do, the other way that you can do it, now that's through Policy Express, and that's bringing up the client. So if you have that client, bring that client up.
Okay. Let me take control. Actually, I got the check here. Just give it's for. Christian, let me pull it up. Okay. Maybe this is not a, well, this is a policy. The reason it's not showing that, I think we canceled it because the policy got canceled due to non-payment, and we just got the payment here yesterday.
Okay, so go down to the bottom to your policy tab.
Get the policy reinstated.
There's your policy.
Policy Express.
Yep.
Okay.
Go to the invoice. Because you did you generate? It doesn't look like you generated an invoice to begin with on this one.
We do have an invoice number here, 849.
I'm sorry, yeah, you're right. Right there.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, all right. So in that case, we'll go here, you said?
No, get out of there.
Cancel, correct.
Just close that out, you're right.
This is a direct bill, actually, but the only thing, hold on, let me just make sure, this is a direct company. The only thing is that if we got the check made payable to our office because we charged them the processing fee. And so we got a check in our office for $13.62.
Okay.
So we said,
$13.52 includes the processing fee?
yes.
So the
But we didn't, the
13.52.
only thing is we didn't break it down on the invoice that we generated back in March.
Okay. You haven't closed your books or anything on the system, right?
No, no.
Okay, go into that invoice. Let's set that invoice up correctly first.
Okay.
Double click on the invoice.
Invoice.
Down right
Down
there.
here. Okay. All right.
Okay, so subtract out the policy fee and just put what the actual policy premium is on the policy itself.
Okay.
Now you're receiving commission from Security Mutual. This is actually direct bill, is what you're telling me.
Correct. So it's 15% on that. Okay. So
So
that's
now
all
hit
I
next.
did.
You want to open up a new.
That's $75 right there.
And again, we're just using the transaction code. Go back up. Go up one. Go back to your new business transaction code.
Correct. And then
I
put
think
it.
you're in the wrong field. Hit cancel here, Thomas. Go up to your transaction code, not your class code, your transaction, where it says new.
New.
Yeah, that's where you want to put in policy fee.
Correct. So just go back. And
Wipe that out, right. And put in, for now, again, we're going to put policy fee, but when we get you up and running, we want to actually have that say agency policy fee.
Okay.
And again, it zeroes everything out, and you can
Correct.
put in the description, you know. And then if that's it, hit finish. Yes? Okay, so now you receive the payment.
Okay.
So go ahead and go into your cash detail portion. Nope, don't close out. Stay here. Go to your, oh, I'm sorry. Go where it says cash details, kind of in the middle of the screen there. Right, click on that. Your check number is the check number from the client.
Okay. It's just
And then the total amount. I think you skipped over that amount. Yeah, there you go.
2.
And then the description. Now, will you be sending a check to the company?
Yes.
On this? Okay. So hit finish.
You know, before I was just thinking of something. Nadia, could we find out whether we charged any credit card fees on this before we go ahead and yeah, because we got. Oh no, we got the actual check.
But you wouldn't because you're actually paying the company. You got the check, right?
Yeah.
Hit save payment. I'm sorry. See where it says save payment?
Yes.
Hit that.
Yeah, here.
If you needed to print a receipt for the client, here's where you could print it.
Okay.
To show them that you know, to be able to give them something.
Correct.
To show that you've documented their receipt. Go ahead and hit finish.
Yeah.
So now, you'll pay the company just for this client today, right?
Correct.
To get him reinstated? Okay, so close out of here. Let's do the check while we're at it. And then close that. So now you're going to go down up to accounts payable. And you're going to do reconcile payables. And you want to do a company payable, and you're going to create a new reconcile. And the company is going to be Security Mutual.
So I just put in
SEC or whatever, yeah, the company code. That shows not on file, so you're going to have to right-click in that area to find out what the company code was. Oh, okay, you've used numbers, okay. And you want to expand the dates to include today's date. So your end date would include today's date.
Oh.
I mean, you could do your start date and your end date for today if you wanted to. That's up to you. It doesn't really matter at this point.
Okay. Okay. So today's.
And then I want you to, when you're done there, hide invoices that are reconciled. Is it okay? That's interesting. Oh, you know what? When was that policy billed?
Oh, this was billed back in March. That's why.
I'm sorry, so put in March 1st. Wow, okay.
There we go.
Of course, we have to clean this up,
Yeah.
but right-click on that one, and you're going to pay the invoice in full.
Yeah, all in full.
Done it? Not all. Pay this invoice in full. Go up a little bit. Up. Keep going.
Yeah.
Yep. And then perform reconciliation. Check number, it's telling you that the check, obviously, this is your first check that you've done in here.
Okay.
0001. It has been created. Do you want to print it? Now, do
actually,
you have checks that are ready?
No.
Have you ever tried to print checks off of here?
No, actually, I also need to order checks for this particular account, so it's maybe the next. I'll have it in the next couple of days.
Okay, so let's know because
we just print out just sheet of paper.
You can print it on a sheet of paper if you want. I mean, we're going to be cleaning all this up anyway, so.
Yeah.
So it gives you the check number. It shows you the premium account, check number.
Okay.
The date method would be entry date, starting from 6/12 to 6/12 because today's the day you did it.
Okay.
So all you have to do is hit print. So go ahead and print so you see how it prints out.
Okay.
So do you kind of see how that all got, now here, let me just, before you check anything, if, for instance, the check did not print correctly, you could say no, and you could reprint the check using, making sure you're using the correct check number. But in this case, just hit yes, because we don't have anything, we don't have the actual check.
Okay.
Do you see how this process all kind of flowed together?
Correct. Right.
You did everything all basically in a couple steps, and boom, you're showing your client paid, and you've cut the check to the insurance company, and that's it, you're done.
Correct.
Okay. Now the only problem is, Thomas, you were showing this on agency bill.
We're showing as an agency bill back. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that should be.
If you're receiving commission on this, and you want to be able to reconcile this, to make sure that you receive the commission, you need to show these policies as direct bill, not agency bill, these invoices.
Okay.
When you create the invoices, they have to be direct bill.
Direct bill. Okay. But then only thing is it doesn't, well, I guess then you have to change the invoice line so you could print out, because obviously Security Mutual is a direct bill. I mean, it's we have to send the full amount.
Right.
The only thing is that when we create an invoice for the client to make us a payment, we just have to go back in there and change the invoice line to print in our office, right? Because I know it doesn't enable us to, when it's a direct bill, it doesn't enable us to print an invoice.
Sure it does.
It does? Usually there's a section there, once you set it up as a direct bill, automatically the invoice line changes because it doesn't, the system is thinking that, obviously there's no need for you to have an invoice printed because the company is going to be sending out the bill.
Okay. Let me.
Because I know that we had where a lot of the stuff that we do have direct bill, it doesn't automatically enable you to create an invoice, but it creates it, but you got to go back and change the invoice line so you could print it out in our office.
I know what you're saying. Okay.
Because obviously
Right.
these policies are brand new policies where we're starting up the policy in-house, so we get the payment here because we're including either a credit card fee or an agency fee. So we need to collect the payment here. The payment needs to come to our office, so we have to create an invoice so that the customer could go ahead and make the payment to our office.
Right. I got you. All right. I think that there's a way around that, but I just want to double check something later. Okay. I made a note of that one. I want to check that one because I'm quite sure there is a way that you can invoice them on direct bill policies without it being an issue. But let me just make sure before I, send you in that direction.
Okay.
Okay, so we walk through, so anytime that you have agency bill, that's the way you want to process it.
Okay.
You want to bill it, you want to create an invoice when the policy comes in. We have to find out how to do your check that we can, to the company on those particular companies where you want to be able to send them or fax them a copy of a check in good faith.
Yeah, that's something that let me know, correct.
But for agency bill, it's just as simple as the way we did it. You create the invoice. When you receive the cash payment from the client, whether it be cash or check, always go in there and make the payment to that invoice. That way it clears out your receivable, and then you can go ahead and reconcile that invoice immediately by doing reconcile payables and cut the check right to the company right there and then.
Okay.
And you
The
can
other
get
question
that out
I
of your
had,
way.
the other question was that, Nadia, you processed the July renewals yesterday, right? You processed it. Remember, since we're billing most of them to the mortgage companies, we processed it on a generic invoice.
I did it on the regular invoice, and I override the payee.
Okay. So Debbie, does that come into the accounting? Does that
Is
get
that what she's trying to pay the mortgagee?
No, we're billing all our agency bills for, that are due for July. Nadia created the invoices yesterday. So I just wanted to make sure that, those, because I know that there was two ways of creating the invoice. One was this way that, we always do, but on the other side of it, there's a generic form in the system that enables you to just create an invoice, but it doesn't get reflected on accounts receivable.
So we need some invoices to
Yeah,
be
getting in.
Yeah, Nadia's pulling up one of them.
This is one of them that was done yesterday, but I actually, this was invoiced using the regular invoicing. It was done using the generic form that's in the form section.
It was done using generic, or it wasn't?
No. I didn't. It was invoiced directly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to make sure that when because we may get this payment in about 2 weeks, so that this is accounted for in the system, so that we could offset it with the payment. Because if we do a generic form, obviously nothing's going to be in the system.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Right.
She's got it right there. See the invoice line for 1038?
1038. Okay.
That's the invoice.
That's the invoice. Correct.
You want to correct these? Now you're showing 15% commission. That's correct, right? And then if you have any producers on these, you should start putting those in. But
putting those in, yeah, we'll get those corrected in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
Those
Yep.
in.
When you receive the cash payment, she's just going to bring this invoice up and post the payment right there.
Yeah, once we receive the payment. Okay. All right. So I wanted to make sure that was done.
So now the generic invoice that you're talking about, that's probably the way you would want to do the direct bill.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
the
But
actual.
then the only thing is that if I do it on the generic version yeah, go ahead. Bring that.
That's the generic invoice that we use. But that's not actually going to reflect in the accounting if we do it like this, is it?
Yeah, no, it's not. No, no.
So the only thing is then the $75 or the credit card fee, that's not going to move into a general ledger.
Right. Nope. So let me check into that. because you need to put everything through the system.
Correct. Right.
All right, so let me check on that. Let me make sure I have it right before I, tell you how to go through and process them.
Yeah.
But we just want to make sure, too, that we're showing our policies correctly as far as direct bill, because you also want to make sure that you're able to reconcile the direct bill commissions as well.
Correct.
Right? You want to make sure that you're receiving your commissions from the companies for each policy.
Correct.
Okay. And your company profiles, did you set all your commission percentages up and everything? You knew how to do that?
Not for all of them. I will do that. I'll try to do my best to do it by tonight, so that tomorrow. Let me ask you. When they zero out my accounting, the changes that I make today, if I put those profiles in, they're not going to. Obviously, they're not going to touch that. It's just the number figure of it, right?
I'm not too sure about that, Thomas, so let me find out for you.
Okay. Yeah, because obviously once we set up if I set that up today or tomorrow, in a couple of days, obviously when they zero everything out, don't want to go back and have to do that again.
Exactly. So hold off on that until I get back to you.
Okay.
The other thing would be what, boy, I just lost my train of thought, speaking of that. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so you want to go back to January 1st of this year, don't you?
No, I mean, I think we have changed that as of, whenever you mean reconciling, or I don't think it may be too much of a chore.
When was the last time you filed your tax return? Did you do 2011?
I did 2011, yes.
So you did file a tax return for 2011?
11, correct.
So we need, because after they clean this out, Thomas, we need some kind of beginning balances.
Okay.
In other words, what I'm saying is we either need the 2011 tax return, which will take you all the way back to January, though, and that means then we need to enter everything from January 1st forward.
Okay.
Or if you are confident in your figures that you have right now for the end of, say, April.
Okay.
Do you actually have a general ledger? How did you get any figures, any revenue and
well, I mean, the only thing that we are outstanding is basically, the money that we have in hold maybe within the last week that we need to send out to the companies, because we're just waiting for policy number before we issue the payment.
Right. But what I'm referring to is, you're going to do the whole accounting package. You're going to start with, you're going to have a balance sheet now and an income and expense statement. So where are you doing your expenses right now? Your normal, like rent and utilities? Rent
on a separate, just manually I keep it track.
Okay, so again, wouldn't you rather be able to do all that through the system?
Yeah, correct. No, I would rather do that, yes.
Okay, so what we really want to do with this, Thomas, and I know it's going to seem cumbersome.
Cumbersome, yeah, I know.
I know. We really need to load
everything in there.
Balances as of January 1st once they're cleaned up.
Okay.
And we need to go back. It'll be better for you in the long run because you'll have a full year then, especially for comparisons next year.
All right.
Profit and loss comparisons. Your balance sheet, what we would need is everything that's on your tax return, which by looking at that I'll be able to tell, if you have any loans, any type of depreciation. Do you know if you have computer equipment that is being depreciated and all that stuff right now?
I could check on that. I could send you a copy, yes.
Yeah, so if you can send me a copy of that tax return, that's what we really, really should be doing. We should be going back to January 1st. Now, either, I can train your accounting staff how to put all that in.
Okay.
I'm not sure of time, timing. How much time do they have?
Yeah, that's the only thing also. Yeah,
Do they have some free time to do this?
We may have to schedule some time. That's the only option that would be the only other way.
Okay, so, or if it's something that you think, is going to be impossible for them to fit into their schedule, you need to talk to Jennifer. Maybe we can, set something up with myself where I can go back and reconstruct your books for you.
Okay.
So, that's all stuff that you really need to think about.
Okay.
Before you move any further forward.
All right.
Okay. If you're going to do this, do it right.
Okay.
Don't just use it for customer receivables. Let's do the whole kit and caboodle, because then you're going to be so much happier down the road. And it's just going to be so much easier and so much better for you, because you won't have to track all this manually.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
You'll
No,
free up a lot of hours in your day, Thomas. You can do what you do best, which is selling, right?
Yeah, that's true.
That's what you want to do.
That's less to worry
What you
about.
really want to be able to do. Get out there and sell. You shouldn't be worrying about who's going to pay the rent or the utilities.
Yeah. No, that's sometimes it takes a lot of time sometimes.
Oh, I'm sure. I can imagine.
After I go home, that's what I have to worry about. Tracking everything, and
no. Let your accounting staff handle that for you. That's what you're paying them for.
Okay.
I think we have to wrap up for today. Is that correct,
Okay.
Jennifer?
Well, it's up to you guys. I mean, I left it open that if they wanted to do like an hour and a half, that they paid for 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So we can do an hour and a half today and an hour and a half tomorrow if you want.
Let's, probably we have maybe the next, the only other day that we have now is tomorrow, right?
Yep.
We can do 2 hours tomorrow, or we can schedule next Wednesday, Thomas, and an hour tomorrow and then another hour next Wednesday.
Okay, why don't we do tomorrow? I'll get somebody else here. No, 2 hours tomorrow, if it's possible.
Yeah, that'll work for me if that's okay with Jennifer.
Yep, it works for me too.
Okay, so we'll get everything started. Let me ask you, in the meantime, Jennifer, do I need to provide you with anything between now and tomorrow to get anything up, that you need to, that I need to be aware of, or do I need to provide you anything?
For
For the accounting stuff between now and tomorrow?
I think you paid this morning, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. No, other than that, no, not just, to put numbers into the system or anything. Well, we can't do nothing until we clear out everything,
We can't do
right?
anything until the system's cleaned out.
Cleared out. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
We get to that point. Like you said, it's a for the training first, and then we'll do that.
Okay.
Well, no, Deb, I was trying to make sure that I listened in. There was a few things that you wanted to take a look at, right? Is there anything that you think that you need from Thomas to have a more accurate representation of what's going on?
Yeah. You know what I'd like to see, I guess. Well, see, nothing in here is going to be correct. If there's any way that you can get me your 2011 tax return,
Okay.
Thomas, as quickly, maybe scan it and email it to me.
Yeah.
That'll give me a better idea of how big you are and your revenue in that. The other thing that I would like to see maybe are if you can print off a list of companies and brokers that you have in the system right now and scan those over, or I'm sorry, email those over to me. That would be good too.
Okay, the companies, a list of all the companies that we deal with, is that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, basically that
me. And make sure you specify who the MGAs are.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What did you say?
Make sure you specify who the MGAs are.
Oh, in reference to each company.
Yes, and whether or not they're agency bill or direct bill. That's what I really need to know.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you can do that, that'll be great. It'll give us somewhere to start, and then we can do some more training tomorrow and go from there.
Okay. All right. So then that's fine. So I'll work on that by this afternoon, this evening, and then so that you'll have it for tomorrow morning.
Great.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. You know what? I don't think, Debbie, I have your contact information. So what's your email address? I could email it to.
Just Debbie, DEBBIE, at mynewtoneducation.com.
Education. Okay, all right, that's fine. Oh, hold on. I think Nadia had a question.
Sure.
You guys wanted us to send over the MGA with the companies with whatever MGA we're using for that company. The thing is, some of these companies, we use multiple MGAs. So do we specify for each one? For example, with Otsego Mutual,
just send me a list of MGAs,
okay.
you know, and then a list of companies.
Okay. Okay.
And then whether you're on direct bill or agency bill,
Okay.
you know, you don't have to send, no, I know what you're saying. No, just a primary
Just
list
a
of
list
your
of
MGAs,
everything.
whether or not you're direct bill or agency bill with them, and then the same thing for the insurance carriers.
Okay.
Okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. All right.
That's
Thank
it.
you. All right.
We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, Debbie.
Thank
you,
you.
Jennifer. All right.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Okay.
You ladies
All right.
have a good day. Bye-bye.